matters in court should not be entertained, Adaramodu stressed that this is a constitutional rule that upholds institutional integrity, even if the public misinterprets it as a parliament being a banana republic. The Senate also warned the media against sensationalism, urging journalists to resist partisan pressure and promote responsible reporting. Dr. Bati, I'll take some tweets and I'll come to you because I have a few questions regarding the stance by the Senate. Now, Sola wrote, this is beyond belief. You cannot use the pendency of the judicial process to extend the punishment you have imposed. So a man appeals a 6-year jail sentence, and after completing his term, he has to remain in prison because his appeal has not been heard? Surely, there are lawyers in the National Assembly. Well, another ex-user wrote, this is getting interesting. If a senator can't resume until court cases are cleared, should that rule apply across the board of all public office holders facing legal battles? What do you think? Fair standard or selective application? Am I overthinking this? Are we overthinking this, Dr. Bati? Because I also know that this whole idea, the Senate's position indicates that, Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan's return is solely dependent on a ruling from the Court of Appeal. Natasha, as we know, had written a letter telling the National Assembly of her intention to return on the 4th of September, exactly 6 months to the day of her suspension. But in reply, her request was rejected. Now, this is all based on the courts. That's what they're saying now.
Okay, we had a guest on this program, Mr. Ibrahim Wali, and in the course of the conversation with him, we tried to raise all the issues.
Yes.
Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan was sent on suspension March 6, and that, due to the efflution of time, that suspension expired effectively on September 4. However, the reality now is that the Senate is on recess. But Mrs. Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan had written that, well, even if the Senate is on recess, the suspension having expired, she should be granted access to her office. Because after all, when the Senate returns, she should have access to her office. There are projects, there are bills she's working on. She can, if she so likes, have access. It was on the basis of that the clerk of the National Assembly then said, oh, there are matters that are still pending in court. Well, I don't think that the clerk of the National Assembly has the authority to determine who comes back to the National Assembly or not. And that is why the leadership of the National Assembly should quickly look into this matter and take a decision. However, if they are going to go by what the clerk of the National Assembly has said, that there are cases at the level of appeal in court, and that those cases to go over them will amount to contempt of court, that it will be subjudicial because you will need the courts to take a decision one way or the other. Now, if you look at that, it looks like the case can go on forever.
Yeah.
And that was why I referred to the point made by Justice Binta Nyako when she was looking at this same matter. When she said that, look, if you suspend somebody for over 180 days, which is the total number of time that, a Senate sits in a year, they're high about the people that she's representing. The people that will have been short-served, that will have been short-changed, that will have been denied the right to representation will be, our constituents. And I think that that is an important point. And on the basis of that, Justice Nyako advised that, look, the Senate also has a responsibility to look at its own rules and see that in trying to accuse any of your members for gross misconduct, that was the allegation, gross misconduct, that's what they said. You don't then deny the people who have their representatives in power. I think the leadership of the Senate should look at all of this and see how we can move beyond this particular matter, because it's embarrassing.
It is quite
not just to ordinary people, but also within the committee of parliamentarians.
Yeah.
There's something they call the International Interparliamentary Union, IPU. That's the abbreviation. And I hope that they will find a way of resolving this matter so that we can all move forward.
Yeah, this is, I'm not sure you answered the question I asked,
Okay,
what your opinion was about whether after serving her 6 months suspension, whether you feel it's right to just extend with the court. Did you answer me?
No. Nobody has said they are extending.
No, it appears
what
so
the clerk said is that there are matters in court.
Yeah.
But I also said that...
No, it's because she can't resume. That's what I'm asking.
The clerk is not the final authority.
Yeah.
And two, I said the Senate at the moment is on recess. They are not coming back until September 23. Now, they have the window to look at this matter. Maybe when they come back on September 23, it's a matter that they can discharge because we don't need this distraction.
All right, well
actually.
Said. All right. Well, we'll follow up on the story, I think, by the 23rd. All right. Well, let's now take a story from Lagos, where we have an update to the story of why crowds from Oworoshoki protested the sudden destruction of buildings in their community on the 3rd Mainland Bridge. In a new statement, the Lagos State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Gbenga Omotosho, revealed that the Lagos State government engaged with residents of Oworoshoki multiple times over the past 3 years, providing ample notice for them to regularize their building papers before the homes were ultimately demolished. Omotosho maintained that the demolitions were necessary for development and were conducted after extensive engagement with residents who, despite numerous warnings and amnesty periods, failed to produce any valid building or land documents. He described the structure as distressed and unsafe, adding that the development cannot be hindered by what he described as pure lawlessness. In the meantime, some residents of Oworoshoki say their homes were demolished despite submitting the required documents for building approval. A resident accused officials from the Lagos State Building Control Agency and the local monarch of a land-grabbing scheme. The resident claims that after being instructed to upgrade their houses, demolition crews arrived late on Friday night, catching families off guard and preventing them from salvaging their belongings. Let's take a look.
It was on that Friday, on the 6th. I wasn't putting on anything. I was just shouting my son's name. Before I came out, they have already at the 4th house there. We were inside in the midnight. I didn't believe it though. I don't know what to do. I was stranded. It was my son that gingered me that mommy, I can pack. We couldn't pack anything before we knew it. They just my son wanted to pack the plumbing materials. There, they didn't allow us. They came last May, and they only asked us they didn't say we should vacate our land to demolish. They said we should. They didn't even say renovation. He said we should come with our document that we should come and file for building approval. Not that they want to demolish.
Well, this was quite hard to listen to. You know, also in that statement that the Commissioner of Information, Gbenga Omotosho, refuted claims that the government's slow bureaucracy was to blame, stating that the approval process has been streamlined to under 10 days for those with complete land documents. So we're hearing different, interpretations of what really transpired with these Oworoshoki residents. But that same woman, she, made a lot of accusations. She accused the Lagos State government officials. She also accused a monarch. And I'd like to play that soundbite, if we can, of this lady publicly accusing a monarch of land grabbing. Let's take a look.
So someone advised us that we should go to head of Labska. Abdul Gani Oki or something.
Bolan Oki.
So we now went there. We went to his office. He said he's not aware. So he now checked the number on the abatement paper. He called. He said, Sheye, were you the one that went to place papers on people's properties at Ojileru? He said yes. He said, who sent you? He said, Baba, I will come and see you, sir. So Mr. Okina said, are you crazy? I said, who sent you? He now said it was Kabiesi that sent him. Mr. Okina advised us that we should go and liaise with the Oba, the Kabiesi, the king. So that we should ask him what he really wants from us. Maybe he wants us to rebuy the properties.
All right, another strong accusation there, Rufai. I mean, what are your thoughts on this story?
Okay.
The response from the Lagos state government, as well as her, rebuttal.
So with due respect, I don't think the report from the Lagos state government is good enough, because there was also a video of somebody that were challenging them before this time and saying, oh, when we told you to go and do your property on time, you didn't do it on time, then you saw the demolition. And this was before the protest even happened. It's not good enough, because we also see that there's a lot of lacuna. We don't know who you are talking to in Lagos state government. That's always the problem. It's just like some buildings that people in Lagos state government give authorization to go up. When it now comes down, they will say they know nothing about it. Another harm. So the Lagos state government is convoluted. And that's why I've always suggested technology can solve this problem. Lagos state government, if they say they are very advanced, they should put a blockchain platform up for land. So that anybody that buys land and your paper is up there, is verified. So that anybody that comes up there will be able to see what is happening there. That's just it. Make the land process transparent. This one that they're saying they're going to check in lands, it always causes problem in the end. And people victimize other people. But Audrey, please, I'm sorry. I just want to point out the hypocrisy of the Senate as regards Natasha matter in less than 1 second.
Okay.
The Senate is now claiming that the case is in court, so Natasha should not return because the case is in court, right?
The clerk.
The clerk of the Senate is speaking for the Senate.
Speaking for the Senate.
We don't know whether it was authorized.
Dr.
No, but
Dr. Abati was authorized.
Adara Madu, like I just read, reiterated that point.
It was authorized
yes.
because it was in reaction to Natasha.
But we have a spokesperson who actually said
Let me give you
as well.
empirical facts that the Senate is hypocritical. And this is an attempt just to stifle the voice of Senator Natasha Akpoti. On the 4th of March, Justice Obiora Egwato restrained the Senate for suspending Natasha Akpoti, but it was vacated on the 20th of March. Did the Senate comply with that judgment then? They didn't. You know what they remember? They now started positing them. The Senate started saying that the court cannot come and intervene to the Senate matter. But the same Senate that said that for Justice Egwato's judgment because they favored Natasha, it is the same Senate now that is coming out to say that things are a court, so let's respect the courts because it favors them in this regard. I rest my case.
Yeah, it screams of hypocrisy,
yes.
Absolutely.
And the danger of this is that it sends a message of victimization for Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. It's a strong message in that, and I think just for the integrity of the Senate, they should do right by her. She served her 6 months punishment, well, in quote, suspension. I don't know if we can call that punishment, but her people, most importantly, Senator Kogi Central Senatorial District, have been denied a voice in matters in the Senate as a result of this suspension.
On Lagos, can we
before I come to you on
another
Lagos,
side of it?
Yes. Okay, can I take this one, then you can add on? You have another side of the Woroshoki
No, I just
conversation.
wanted to say.
Let me take this one, then you can add on it. In another development, still in Lagos, a property dispute.
When others are sleeping, you wake up in the night. Father, for the sake of my destiny, I came from a family where no one has risen, and I heard my parents tell me that they tried. I have made up my mind that I will be that savior. Lord, for the next 7 months, it is 2 hours with you every night. Zakos kata prakata. While you are doing that, you are in your small room. Don't worry. The rewarder is watching. The rewarder is watching. I sense in my spirit that God gave me this message because in this season, the rewarder is going to move again. Move from family to family. Move from ministry to ministry. There are some of you, hear me, you have served for a very long time and it looks like nobody has noticed you. I'm telling you prophetically, do not feel bad. I'm saying this by the Spirit of the living God. The rewarder is going to have a convocation.